Hi everybody, it's Gemma. Welcome back to Pampered Wolf. Today I am going to be reviewing the brand new Natasha Denona Glam Palette. This is the first full-size Natasha Denona palette that I have ever purchased. I've got lots of the little mini palettes which I absolutely love, so I'm really excited to share my thoughts and feelings on this palette. This will not be a first impressions review. I've really put this palette through its paces. I've tried every single shade on my lid, so I know how these are going to wear. I know how these are going to look, and I know how these are all going to blend on my lid. Not only that, I've also done 2 different looks for you in this video and swatches as well. So if you're interested in my thoughts and feelings on this palette, please do stick around. If you are new here, hi, my name's Gemma. I am a qualified esthetician and lover of anything beauty, skincare and makeup. I upload videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 PM London time. And I'm also on Instagram. If you fancy checking me out over there, it's at Pampered Wolf, all lowercase, no spaces. If you haven't already, if you are new, or if you just haven't felt the need to click on that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it if you would consider joining the Pampered Wolf Pack. We are a really friendly bunch. Click on that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. So this is the Natasha Denona Glam Palette. It is pricey at £60, but it is absolutely beautiful. Really chunky case. I mean, this is not going to smash anywhere, and you get a great chunky mirror in the top. So if you want to travel with this, this will be travel friendly, and you have a mirror as well, so you don't need to take a different mirror. This actually does hold its shape. So I just don't like those palettes that tend to flop all over the place and you have to prop them up to be able to use the mirror. This is not one of those. This is really, really sturdy and does stay where you put it. So it's a great chunky palette to have. This is just a beautiful colour selection, mostly cool and neutral shades. So you get 5 mattes in here. You also get 10 shimmers, and every single formula is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, with the exception of this one here, which is for the lash line, which I will talk about a little bit later on. It's still a gorgeous, gorgeous formula, but it's slightly more problematic than the rest of them. So I'll update you a little bit more a little bit later on. So the quality of this palette is excellent. The mattes are smooth, easy to blend out, very beginner friendly. The shimmers are buttery and creamy and very easy to apply. Finger application I found is better with the shimmer shades. You will get far better colour payoff and 0 fallout. I've actually applied this look today with my foundation and concealer already on, and that's something that I wouldn't normally do for fear that I would get some fallout and then I'd mess up my makeup trying to clear up the fallout. 0 fallout with this application today, so really, really, really impressed with this palette so far. So as you can see, these shades don't actually have names. They're labelled where you would apply them on the lid space. So you've got centre eyelid, outer eyelid, you've got inner corner, crease, you've got transition, smoke, blend, lash line, and then several others as well. You don't have to follow that religiously. You can apply these wherever you want to. You can be really experimental if you want to, but for a beginner, this is really, really well thought out. I am slightly disappointed that they don't have a matte brow bone shade because I don't like to have shimmers on my brow bone. I much prefer something matte. Having said that, I have shades in my collection that will already do that. I just feel like this is the only thing that this palette is missing. Let me show you the swatches. So I've chosen to do the swatches slightly differently in this video because the shades don't actually have shade names, so it's slightly more difficult. So I'm going to show you these in rows. So I'll show you the top row first, then the middle, and then the bottom. And I'm going to show you a video of them because I think it's really important that you see these in natural lighting so that you can see the amount of shimmer that these have and how beautiful they are. So let's go for the top line first. So from left to right, these are labelled centre eyelid, outer eyelid, inner corner, crease, and transition. Gorgeous. And the second row, we've got smoke, blend, lash line, inner corner, and centre eyelid. And then the final row, we've got centre eyelid, outer eyelid, centre eyelid, outer eyelid, and brow bone. Just stunning. So let me show you all 3 rows of swatches together. Absolutely gorgeous. This is such a beautiful palette. Let me talk you through the 2 looks that I've created for this video. So to start off with, I took my P. Louise eyeshadow base in the shade Rumour 01 and put a couple of dots on my lids and blended that out all over the lid space, all the way up to the brow bone with my Brush Junkie concealer brush. I then took my Rephr 16 brush and dipped into the shade Transition. I popped this shade on the outer corner of the eye and in the crease using small circular motions, and then went to windscreen wiper motions to finish off the blend. I then took my Rephr 15 brush, dipped into the shade Blend, and then pressed that onto the outer edge and the outer crease. I finished that off with windscreen wiper motions, making sure to blend down rather than in upward motions. With the same brush, I dipped into the shade Smoke and patted that on the outer edge very, very gently. Using my finger, I dipped into the golden centre eyelid shade on the bottom row. I gently pressed that shade onto the centre of the lid. I then went back to the Rephr 15 brush to blend both of those shades together. Again, using my finger, I dipped into the champagne gold coloured centre eyelid shade and then pressed a very small amount of that right in the centre of the lid to add further dimension. Taking my Rephr 3 brush and dipping that into the silvery inner corner shade, which is on the middle line, I carefully brushed that onto the inner movable lid and the lower inner lash line. And then with the same brush, I dipped back into Blend, which we used previously, and then used windscreen wiper motions under the lower lash line. Again, using the same brush, I tapped into the shade Lash Line and added that to the upper lash line and also the very outer lower lash line to connect the 2 lines together. And that's it. Then moving on to the second look, rather than creating a cool tone golden look like I've just created, we're going to go for a cool tone pinky silvery look here. So again, I'm going to go into my P. Louise base to prime the lid space. Then I'm going to move on to my Rephr 16 brush and go into Transition and do exactly the same with that shade as I did in the first look, using windscreen wiper motions and circular movements to make sure it's blended absolutely beautifully. Then I moved on to the Rephr 15 brush and dipped into the shade Crease, which is a beautiful cool toned brown on the top row, and then patted that onto the outer edge and into the crease. Using my finger, I'm now going to go into the top row outer eyelid shade, which is a beautiful silvery brown shade, and I'm going to pack that on the outer lid using patting motions. Then I'm going to go into the pinky centre eyelid shade and pack that onto the centre of the lid, blending the 2 shades together with my finger. Taking my Refa 3 brush, I'm going to dip into the inner corner on the top row and blend into the inner movable lid space to brighten the whole look up. Such a pretty shade. Then taking my Refa 13 brush, I'm going to go back into the shade Transition and blend that under the lower lash line. Then I'm going to go back into the shade Crease and add a bit of definition to the outer edge. Then I'm going to take my Refa 3 brush and go back into the first centre eyelid shade, which is that beautiful pinky cool tone shade, and add that to the centre of the lower lash line. With the same brush, I'm going to go back into inner corner that we used earlier on and do the same on the inner lower lash line. Finally, I'm going to dip the same brush into the shade Lash Line, pushing that into the upper lashes and the outer lower lash line to make the eyes pop. And that's it. So 2 different looks from the same palette, and you can create so many more. You don't need to stick to where it actually says you should put these shades. You can mix and match. The only thing that I would only use for what it's intended for is this shade here, because I have tried to use it as an all over lid colour and it can go a little bit patchy, so I would only use this for the lash line or a tiny bit of an outer edge. It's a lovely shade. It's just slightly problematic because you need so little on your brush if you're wanting to blend this out. So this is the only shade that I would say you need to be a little bit more careful with. Everything else is just universal. You can put those shades anywhere. I actually can't see how anybody that doesn't like shimmers wouldn't like this palette. It is to die for. Absolutely beautiful. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. All the links will be in the description box below. Those are affiliate links. If you choose to click on those links and you choose to go shopping, I will earn a small amount of commission, which will then be plumbed back into my channel. Thank you very much for doing that for anybody that's already done that or anybody that's thinking about doing that in the future. It really does make a difference, so thank you very much. But if you decide not to do that, don't worry. I will never know. You get your products from wherever you want to. Really hope you've enjoyed this video and hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.